Tay, let's talk Celtic City.
Let's
we
do
love
it.
this show. We're all caught up. So in this one, we saw really they dove into the Len Bias death. You know, him being drafted. It was supposed to be sort of a passing of the torch from those great Celtics teams.
Yeah.
And then it would be kind of transition from Bird and McHale and them to Len Bias.
Yep.
And it would be his time in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, tragically, it didn't happen. And then in this episode, we also saw really the end of Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think would be an emotional thing for me. I knew Len Bias would. Growing up,
Right.
I grew up in Maryland, so like I know all the Len Bias stuff,
Yeah.
okay?
Rest
and it
in
was
peace,
devastating.
dog. Yeah.
Rest in peace. And people back home still to this day talk about if Len Bias had actually been a Celtic, how different maybe the NBA landscape could be.
Yeah.
Big picture.
Yeah.
But, you know, the Larry Bird part actually made me emotional too, weirdly, because as a kid, I didn't get prime Bird.
Yeah.
I got Bird
You got robbed of that.
was breaking down at the end, but would still give you buckets and hit
Yeah.
game winners sometimes. And watching that, they explained how and why. And I didn't, as a kid, really know. I just knew he's a great player, and I thought it was normal that, you know, he's an old guy. This is what old guys do.
Yeah.
No, like the double heel surgery,
That
like,
was crazy.
huh?
That was
I didn't know
crazy.
that. Him playing through so many injuries. It was really a strange episode for me in a way, Ante, because
Yeah.
that was the Larry Bird I remembered. And what Celtic City did was just kind of catch me up as to why that was what I was witnessing.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where it's like I wanted Larry to, you know, be a guy. It was, you know, I looked at it from this perspective of how the Lakers looked at it, obviously, kind of growing up, hearing stories about Larry, seeing some of his games and stuff like that. But,
Yeah.
like, knowing that Magic continued to go on to win championships and the Celtics weren't there, it was kind of sad to see that they were falling apart so early because we wanted more of that. I mean, we see it now, you know, with the Lakers versus Celtics games that we have now. People are excited for Lakers versus Celtics. It's always been a thing. And to see that rival kind of fade off into, you know, non-existence was just a little bit of a sad moment for me to watch as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even coming from where I was coming from. I wanted to see Larry be there. I wanted to see him rival the Lakers. I wanted to see him and Magic continue to go at it for years and years and years.
Yeah.
But we just didn't get that.
No, we didn't. And, you know, we can play what ifs all day in sports. You and I were talking about this earlier this morning. You know, we're quick to say, you know, what if Derrick Rose didn't get hurt, or what if this guy stayed healthy or that guy stayed healthy, Grant Hill, things like that nature. But sometimes we have to apply this to all-time greats.
Yeah.
I mean, if Larry Bird had the sort of Kobe maniacal or Tom Brady maniacal work ethic when it came to aging,
Right.
I mean, I almost feel like he left 4 or 5 years on the table
100%.
by lifestyle choices, by injuries.
Yeah.
I mean, man, if this guy was, you know, I don't know, I'm just making this up, salmon and asparagus every night, and he slept in a hyperbaric chamber, and I know times were different.
Yeah.
But, like, if he did that, if he was TB12,
Right.
we would have got 4 or 5 more years of Larry.
Yeah.
And I just feel, like you said, like robbed. I almost feel robbed a bit. He was so great, but I think it could have been a longer runway. And he did play for a long time. But I felt like in the end, I'm telling you, I saw it with thine eyes. He still had game.
Yeah.
His body failed him in the end, Ante.
Right. I mean, he always was a killer. I even,
Oh my God.
looking at the stats, like I go back and look at the, you know, the late 80s for him. He was still absolutely just dominating dudes, frying guys. I mean, even friend of a program, D Brown, in that episode was talking about how great he was. And it was like, he would be hurting, all this other stuff, like you said, laid out on the floor, back hurting, but he would still go out and give you 20. That's how he was. So, you know, Larry is just an incredible basketball player. But, you know, you can't forget about how great, you know, Robert Parish was with them. McHale, you know, who also was giving up his body as well, doing whatever he could to help them go. You know, I wasn't with McHale when he said he could have blocked that Magic hook. He was tripping.
He was tripping.
Healthy, not healthy.
He was tripping.
18 years
He
old
was tripping.
or 45 years old. He wasn't
By the
blocking
way,
that. You know?
He wasn't alone. He was not blocking that. But it was him and Robert Parish up there, dog. Like, he hit it on both y'all.
Right.
So let's relax.
And like, you don't act like Magic wasn't hitting those hooks. He played with the greatest hook artist of all time. Of course, he knew how to hit a hook shot, a running hook in the lane every once in a while. You know, so
I'm crying.
I still can't believe that Bird missed that shot. It feels like he should have made that one. He just always did. You know, so that was crazy.